Stop sharing. गुड इवनिंग ऑल। मैं डॉक्टर अरुण कुरे,
गुड इवनिंग अरुण।
डॉक्टर फाउंडेशन के अध्यक्ष के नाते आप सभी का आज इस चर्चा सत्र में हार्दिक स्वागत करता हूं। प्रथम, आज के डॉक्टर्स डे के अवसर पर आप सभी को हार्दिक बधाई। डॉक्टर्स डे के अवसर पर नवी डॉक्टर फाउंडेशन ने आज ड्रग एलर्जी और ड्रग इंटरेक्शन के संबंध में जागृति करने के लिए चर्चा सत्र आयोजित किया है। आज के चर्चा सत्र में डॉक्टर के साथ नवीम्बी रिटेल केमिस्ट और होलसेलर एसोसिएशन के अधिकारी और सभासद भी मौजूद हैं। सभी डॉक्टर्स, सभी केमिस्ट उपस्थित, सबका इस चर्चा सत्र में हार्दिक स्वागत। आप सबको जानकारी है कि सामान्यतः 10% लोगों में ड्रग एलर्जी, ड्रग इंटरेक्शन देखी जाती है। यही ड्रग एलर्जी डॉक्टर्स और पेशेंट की अनबन की कारण बन जाती है। आप सभी को इस ड्रग एलर्जी के बारे में अधिक जानकारी हो, ड्रग एलर्जी क्या जो तकलीफ होती है तीव्र, उसके कम करने के लिए या उसकी वजह रोकने के लिए हम या और अनबन रोकने के लिए आज इस चर्चा सत्र का प्रयोजन है। इस चर्चा सत्र के प्रयोजन के लिए आज हमने डॉक्टर किरण गोडसे सर, डॉक्टर एसवी कुलकर्णी सर को मार्गदर्शन के लिए बुलाया है। चर्चा सत्र के शुरू में आज के वक्ताओं का परिचय देना चाहता हूं। आज के वक्ता है डॉक्टर किरण गोडसे सर। डॉक्टर किरण गोडसे एक सीनियर डर्मेटोलॉजिस्ट है, पीएचडी है और प्रोफेसर ऑफ डर्मेटोलॉजी एट डीवाई पाटिल मेडिकल कॉलेज है। वो प्रेसिडेंट रह चुके हैं 2020 में IADAVL का। और हमारे दूसरे स्पीकर है डॉक्टर एसवी कुलकर्णी। वो सीनियर एमडी मेडिसिन है, सीनियर कंसल्टिंग फिजिशियन है, करंट प्रेसिडेंट है एसोसिएशन ऑफ फिजिशियन ऑफ इंडिया नवी मुंबई के ब्रांच के। दोनों का हार्दिक स्वागत करता हूं और इस चर्चा सत्र को शुरू करने के लिए डॉक्टर किरण गोडसे सर को रिक्वेस्ट करता हूं। और डॉक्टर किरण गोडसे सर।
Yes, thank you, Arun, and thank you, NFDF. I'll just first share my screen. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes sir, yes.
Yes.
Okay. Well, first of all,
थोड़ा फुल स्क्रीन करा सर।
अरे PDF आहे माझ्याकडे।
साइडला दिसतंय सर बघा।
This is a PDF, त्यामुळे ते फुल स्क्रीन आहे।
Reinforcement center. Yeah.
It's okay.
ठीक है, okay. Okay, or well, first of all, happy Doctor's Day to you all. Well, my topic is drug reactions or a skin allergy or a drug allergy. Now, this is the most common thing to happen is a drug is given and patient can't tolerate it. He starts itching, burning, get blisters, get reaction. Now, this is one of the most common problem with the patients and doctors. Typically, 3% of hospital inpatients have got some kind of allergy. Reaction generally occurs within few hours if it is by injection and few days if it is by orally, but maximum by 4 weeks. If patient is taking continuously medicine for 4 weeks, he has not got any allergy, it is less likely that that particular drug is the cause. And commonest allergy is a skin rash, is a morbilliform rash, or a maculopapular rash, or a red rash. And second most common is urticaria or hives or pith. Severe reactions always they start as a morbilliform rash and then they can become blisters, bulla, or something else. So important is to diagnose it at the early stage. See, first of all, important to all doctors as drug allergy or drug reaction is not a failure of a doctor to give the medicines. Drug allergy can occur to anybody, even to me, to you, everybody. There are reactions can occur even with paracetamol and with cetirizine. One of the safest drugs also can cause allergy. Important is to recognize it and take appropriate measures. Most of these are immunological reaction. Typically, it forms a drug antigen antibody reaction. So that the drug is recognized as an enemy in the body, and it tries to cause reaction, which could be immediate type, immune complex type, or a delayed hypersensitivity reaction type. And other is non-immunologic, like a pigmentation can occur after chloroquine or minocycline, or hair follicles can stop growing and there's a loss of hair, that is after cancer drug, or dystrophy of lipid dystrophy after anti-HIV drug. So it could be different, but most common is maculopapular rash and urticaria. Now, important is for doctors. Now, I'm here in New Bombay for more than 30 years. Maximum times the problem has occurred to GPs and even to doctors is because of Stevens-Johnson syndrome or drug allergy. Now, remember, allergy can occur anybody. So doctors should not be apologetic. Sorry, guys, had a mistake. No, it is, see, anybody can get allergy. You have to tell the patient to go to right place. Few things which I would like to tell to family physicians and doctors, because I've been to many doctors. When I started my practice, I used to go to many doctors and meet, and they think most of your practice room, where it should be well illuminated, it should not be this thing, or it should be, there should be sufficient light coming from behind the doctor when he's sitting. So you can keep 2 tube lights or use a good magnifying lens, because first reaction is a maculopapular rash, which is often not diagnosed by a doctor. But a dark patient, you will not be able to see that reaction unless you go close and check. That is most important, that please check. If patient is saying rash ale, don't think, tell him to open the thing. Kindly mute. So important is, please, you should have adequate illumination and a magnifying glass to find out whether the rash. A maculopapular rash is difficult to diagnose in a dark patient. A dark patient, you will not see that. In fair patient, you can see the rash. And that is the beginning of a effect is maculopapular rash. Now, typically the immune-mediated reactions typically are urticaria, angioedema, and anaphylaxis. And commonest drug to get it is painkillers, penicillin, and insulin is less common, but typically it's a penicillin, antibiotics and painkillers. Purpuric reaction can be caused by penicillins and rifampicin and sulfonamides. Immune complex like a vasculitis can be caused by salicylates, that is painkiller salicylates, Largactil and sulfa. So sulfa is commonest everywhere. Sulfa, penicillin are the most common, and NSAID. These three are the most dangerous to have, can cause reaction, and that is been commonly used. Earlier, sulfa used to be given by every doctor for all the medicine. Now, the sulfa you don't use so much. And late is a delayed type reaction, which can occur after few to several days, which is little less common. So, non-immunologic is destruction, like typically warfarin or all these drugs can cause blisters, basically due to reduction of platelets and a purpuric blisters in the body, which are easy to diagnose. Now, these are not the common thing, like these kind of blisters patient get after warfarin, which are easy to diagnose because patient take the medicine and get these kind of blisters. We are more bothered about other things, non-immunologic, like reaction, which could be urticarial, photosensitivity, pigmentation, drug-induced hair loss, drug-induced nail loss, and a pruritus. So these are the ones which we are bothered about. Now, first, most important is morbid form. All the doctors must be able to recognize this rash. It is a maculopapular, so you can't feel it. It is just a macules and papules on the body. Actually, it is uniform color of the texture of skin changes. You can see actually it is very good, well seen on fair person, but on dark person, it is not seen. And this can be perceived as a itching. It could be perceived as a rash and fever. So typically, when patient gets a rash after medicine, please think that it's a skin reaction. And you say, okay, this is a reaction. Let us change the medicine. Let us stop the medicine. That is simple. Why it has occurred, why to me, no, that it is not in our hand. So anybody can get any reactions. But you have to differentiate from viral exanthem. Now, COVID can present as a maculopapular rash and fever. But typically, there is no history of drug injection, but patient just get a maculopapular rash. Other is patient can get a viral fever along with maculopapular rash and sore throat that can occur. Now, typically, when the patient gets fever and maculopapular rash, do not give any injection. Moment you give injection and patient worsens, patient think that it is your drug. Although you must have given Avil or Efcorlin or some anti thing. Plus, please don't give, because if you're not sure, don't give injection. That is the best policy. Because injection, after that, if patient worsens the reaction, he will blame to your medicine. So typically, if there is a rash and fever, avoid injection. If at all, you can give plain Avil, half cc or 1 cc, or a paracetamol if patient got gut. But avoid painkillers, avoid tetra, doxy, or any of the injections, typically because we not know what is what. Most of the time, it is very difficult to find out what is the cause, because many times patient forget that he has taken Combiflam, he has taken Brufen, he has taken some painkiller. He just forgets. And then what you see is a rash all over the body. So this is a rash. Now this is on fair person. You can see this rash, this maculopapular rash. It looks like a ghamor, this is a prickly hit. It's something like a prickly hit. Now prickly hit is typically will not seen on the hands. Prickly hit will be seen on the covered area of the body, like chest, back, and patient will get intense itching. Here, the same prickly hit like rash will be there all over the body, or at least it will spread and it will be intense itching. So now this kind of rash, you have to have a good illumination light or magnifying lens to see. If you moment you see this with normal islands of skin in between, this is a rash, and now here the cause could be virus or drugs. Now, including COVID virus can cause a rash and fever, that is known, or any other viral. Influenza also can cause rash. Or there are some infections, viral infection, where patient gets the rash and they get hardly a fever for 1 or 2 days. So I can tell the patient, look, this is a viral, looks like a viral rash. Please, all this patient with fever with rash, investigate. Please do basic CBC, CRP, will give you, and sugar if you want, should give you a lot of things what is happening in the body. If it's CBC, CRP, you can see if it is the total count is low, think of viral infection, like 2000, 3000, it could be viral infection and rash. If total count is high, it could be a allergic reaction. CRP will also give rise to infection, whether the patient has got, and sugar is a routine thing. So typically, please check a good CBC. Now, please do a CBC with a cell counter where you can see typically whether the neutrophils are raised or total count is raised. This is important, and this is most important. Now, other thing which I've seen now, suppose evening at 8 o'clock patient comes, 7 o'clock with fever with rash. So what you do, you check the patient, okay, this is rash, get your CBC blood test done. Now don't be in a hurry to say, okay, jaldi abhi ke abhi jaake leke aana. Don't tell the patient to get it same day. First of all, if you get a result within half an hour to 1 hour, you know what is the quality. In fact, you get a breathing time. By the time they look, we have to check your blood and tell him to get it tomorrow. So by the time you see report, the rash has increased. So you get more time to think what it is. So when there's a rash, just you can give Avil or cetirizine and calamine lotion or fever, this thing. Get his CRP done. And obviously MP, dengue and COVID, you all know. But CRP and CBC will give you idea what is going on. So that is the best way, because every patient, please investigate. That is your first step. Basic test will give you a lot of things happening. And don't try to think that it is something nikal jayega, I'll give one Dexa injection and it will go away. No, Dexa will work only for 4 hours, 6 hours. So he might get some relapse, some response, and again it will worsen. So typically don't go Dexa unless you are sure that it is this thing. These are a few things, because this is the one rash, if you can diagnose early, you are safe. If you don't diagnose it, and patient will come with blisters and all, and he start blaming you, what has happened. So please think. And in the paper, please try to note the thing like maculopapular rash with fever, query drug, query infection, query food. You can always write, we don't know, even I don't know. So it is better to write that thing, note it down, so you know that what is happening. When it comes again, please, in fact, it's better to keep a separate notebook, because some patient might say, okay, you didn't diagnose, you came late, a patient came late, that can happen. Now, typically, One story of one doctor told me that patient came at 9:45 when I was closing. He saw something, I gave some medicine. Again, next day he came same way. I just gave medicine, and by third day he was in the hospital, and he said, "The doctor has given me medicine, and I got worse." So if patient is there, try to check. If he's complaining of rash and fever, don't take it lightly. That is most important. Every rash and fever could be Stevens-Johnson syndrome. Okay, and earlier diagnosis is easy. So the important is find out what is it, because that is important. Second most common is urticaria. Now, it is very common. Patient get hives and urticaria lesions all over body, swelling of the lips, swelling of the body, and severe anaphylaxis is rare, but typically urticaria and angioedema, swelling of lips can occur. Again, this is typically drug medicine induced. Most common are ACE inhibitors, NSAIDs, penicillin, blood products, sulfa, penicillin can cause. Remember, acute urticaria could be drug induced, could be virus induced, could be food induced. So drug, food, and infection are the acute commonest cause of acute infection. Now here again, patient comes. If you got extensive this thing, you can safely give Avil injection. If you feel it's purely urticaria, you can give dexamethasone also, or oral steroids, or you can give oral steroids. Typically 20 mg of prednisolone for 5 days is good enough. Along with, you can give good dose of antihistamine. You can give levocetirizine 10 mg twice a day, or Atrax 25 mg. You can give, patient tell them to that it's an urticarial rash, and you need to observe. And obviously, if it doesn't subside, you need to do basic check. So urticaria is that way not dangerous. Drug-induced urticaria can be managed. And here you can safely give steroids and Avil, and tell the patient to follow up frequently. Unless that urticarial plaques is becoming a blister, then it's a bad sign. Then it is a bullous drug reaction. But otherwise, urticaria is most common, and most of the patient takes Combiflam, Brufen, some medicine, some painkiller, and which can cause this kind of thing. So remember, the first is morbilliform drug rash, second is urticaria. These two you must able to. Urticaria patient diagnose himself also, so you can always treat it. Now remember, you have to give antihistaminics 4 times. One tablet of levocetirizine will not work. You can give 2 to 3 tablets of levocetirizine or Atrax, hydroxyzine. You have to, single tablet doesn't work. Remember that. So you have to give double dose or triple dose of any of the anti-allergic which you have. You can use cetirizine, levocetirizine, loratadine, whichever you are comfortable. You can safely give 3 times a day or 4 times a day. Another one is a fixed drug reaction. Now this is a very silent patient, just get a black spots on the body. Very common. If a patient takes medicine and at a particular area, patient gets red patch, and it becomes gradually dark in the center. And again, why it is called fixed drug reaction? It is with the fixed dose, same place with same drug. If you take same drug again, it will get same place again. So patient can get on the lips, on the body. A black round patch is very classical, and patient will give history. Last time I got black spot on the body or on the face or somewhere else. So remember that. And here treatment most common are sulfa drugs, painkillers, barbiturates, phenolphthalein are the commonest one. And ofloxacin, the ofloxacin, ciprofloxacin, tinidazole can also cause. But this is easy to diagnose, not dangerous. Here you have to give just a topical steroids and anti-allergic. So here actually there's no black patches are not seen. Now it's just this thing. Now slowly this all will become turn and become a black patch. That is a fixed drug reaction. Now we have seen a maculopapular rash. Then we have seen a urticaria rash. Now third we have seen a pigmentation, and which is a pustular rash. If there is a pustule, that is acute generalized pustulosis. Again, patient has got fever and pustular region all over the body. These are small sterile non-follicular pustules. Now it can mimic SJS or TEN. Now again, drugs can cause and virus can cause. So typically beta-lactams, macrolides, painkillers, carbamazine. Now most of the psychiatric drugs are dangerous. Carbamazine, that is largactil, and tegretol are the dangerous drugs to cause this kind of reaction, but now they are less often used. Tetracycline, furosemide is again common, Lasix, and thiazides are the common. Now these are the drugs patient can get the pustular reaction. Now this is little rare, not very common, and what you see is a pustules all over body. And then there's a vasculitis where patient will get a tiny purpuric lesions which will rupture to form ulcers. Again, infection can be caused, malignancy can be caused, and drugs like allopurinol, thiazide, sulfonamides, NSAID. Now, most of drugs, if you see, are same drugs. These are the causing reaction. So you can actually ask for the history of these common drugs which can cause reaction. So this is a vasculitis, purpuric rash. Now same this also starts as a maculopapular rash, but there you can see a blisters now, and now the blisters will rupture to form ulcer. So this is a severe reaction, but this is many times localized to lower legs or some body. So this is a vasculitic drug rash. Other rare thing is DRACE. DRACE is drug reaction with eosinophilia and systemic symptom. Now this is the only reaction which occurs 4 to 8 weeks after the drug. So patient is keep on taking drug and then he gets it. So suppose you're taking Dapsone, after 1 or 2 months you get this. After minocycline or antipsychotics, which can cause. So typically 4 to 8 weeks afterwards, patient get full again, morbilliform rash, same like earlier. It could be erythematous, papular, pustular with fever. And again, edema can occur, but here most important is CBC and LFT will give you the clue. There will be definite leukocytosis, hepatitis, all markers will be, all enzymes will be raised. And classical drugs are phenytoin, carbamazine, lamotrigine, all CNS and antipsychotic drugs, minocycline, Dapsone, sulfonamides, allopurinol, and some HIV drugs. So after 4 to 8 weeks, this is the only reaction. After 4 to 8 weeks, patient get the rash with hepatitis. And this thing again here, admission is important. So important is first you have to stop the medicine. All the medicine has to stop. And you can give steroids if you are sure of the cause. Again, prednisolone 1 mg per kg is important. So 50, 60 mg you have to give prednisolone. Now remember, prednisolone and dexamethasone, 4 mg of dexa is equivalent to 30 mg of prednisolone. So when you give 1 cc of dexa, it is equivalent to 30 mg of prednisolone. Remember that. 1 tablet of visolone is equivalent to 1 tablet of betnisol, that is 0.5 mg, or 1 tablet of dexa, 0.5 mg. But try to keep same. Do not try to change the listing. You can use either prednisolone or methyl prednisolone. My advice to use a methyl prednisolone, Medrol, the original drug. Why? Because if you write ordinary visolone or omnacotil, patient keeps on buying that. It is so economical. Betnisol is some 4 rupees 20 tablets. And we don't want patient to keep on taking it. So use the one, and obviously here is the steroid. You have to have the best of best drug available. So in fact, you might have seen, I had never read anything else but Medrol or methyl prednisolone or omnacotil or prednisolone that you can write. And remember, this is the description. It is 1 tablet of 1 mg, 4 mg of dexa is equal to 30 mg of prednisolone. So when you give 2 cc, you are giving 60 mg of prednisolone. Remember that. Other dangerous thing which patient used to do, doctors. In fact, when I started practice, I used to give injection Kenacort or Tricort. You know, that's a slow releasing triamcinolone injection, which was first was good, but then it's a slow release and will not get response immediately. And patient keeps on taking same Kenacort, you know. So once I wrote, every time patient used to take, whenever he gets rashes, he used to take Kenacort on its own. And there are patients who got side effects of Kenacort drug like diabetes or avascular necrosis of femur and all these things. They have confessed that they should keep on taking it. So that's why don't give a prescription of Kenacort to the patient, because patient keeps on taking it on and on for anything he gets. So you can give the injection on your own, and best is you can give dexamethasone. That is the best way to give. So don't give Kenacort injection for any of the allergic reaction. In fact, there is a case of a Stevens-Johnson syndrome, and doctor gave Kenacort 80 mg. So it didn't show response, and actually it's a depot preparation, so should not be given to acute reaction. Here you will fast, so you can give either Efcorlin, but Efcorlin or hydrocortisone reaction is only for 4 to 6 hours. So you can give dexamethasone injection, that is a better one. The reaction is a little longer, and you can tell the patient to come morning, evening to give injection. Okay, that is the best way to give the injection. Yeah, this is the most dangerous thing. You know, patients have filed case. Many doctors have this thing. They have taken money, and I know doctor has to leave the practice sometime. And what if the patient dies, and actually whole village used to come and attack the doctors? There are study stories. Because remember, this is the severest of reaction and needs a hospital admission compulsory. You cannot treat OPD basis. Don't give saline for one day and see. Don't, please let him admit. And always share your responsibility. You can share, and here best way is a skin specialist or a hospital is the best one. And you insist that many times what happens, he gets admitted in hospital, physician keeps on seeing it, thinking that it's something else. So you insist that let dermatologist see, because obviously we are trained to look at it and we can diagnose. So Steven Johnson is the one drug where you need to give. Earlier we used to give Dexa to all the people, dexamethasone or prednisolone or Medrol, but now even cyclosporine is a good drug, very safe drug. We can give 3 to 5 mg per kg and it works wonderfully, especially for Steven Johnson and toxic epidermal necrolysis. And that is important. So here it starts as a rash which can spread. There could be a target-like appearance and erythematous and blister and bulla. So moment there is a maculopapular rash with bulla, think there is something is wrong. Patient needs admission. Okay. And such patient, my advice is a doctor should take personal interest and tell the patient to please go to get admitted here. Try to contact the doctor, tell him that doctor, I am suspecting Steven Johnson is coming to you. Please show the sympathy and empathy to the patient, because patient thinks that it is your fault. It is not your fault. So don't be apologetic, but you try to help the patient every way you can. So that is important. Now again, the commonest thing caused by sulfa drugs, which we don't use nowadays. Nevirapine is anti-HIV. In fact, in 90s and around 2000, we used to get lots of patients, most of them due to anti-HIV drug, used to get Steven Johnson syndrome. You know, classical was Nevirapine, was a basic drug which used to give. And then obviously allopurinol, anticonvulsants, Oxycam, and even the NSAIDs and painkiller can cause Steven Johnson syndrome. So this is the thing. Patient will have erythematous rash and blisters. If this is the case, please think of something wrong. And these patients will have mucus involvement. Eye will be gone. Oral cavity will have lesions. Penis will have lesions. Perianal. So this is important that you have to actually diagnose or think of something is wrong and take the appropriate measure. You are not supposed to treat Steven Johnson syndrome. It is to be admitted only, because all this, what you see blisters on your screen, can slowly become huge sheets of skin and actually burn, like burn patient. Whole thing is filled out and you have to treat it as a burns patient. So important is diagnose. These are the worst things can happen, and these patients, now the mortality is low, but at one stage the mortality is very high. And if he gets admitted early within 72 hours, the chances are he can get a reasonably good treatment. And again, this is a reaction. It's an allergic reaction. You are not at fault of giving the thing, but you need to help the patient to give him the best possible help. Now there's a TEN and SJS. Now they are all same thing. SJS is the Steven Johnson syndrome and TEN is toxic epidermal necrolysis. What happens here? Whole skin epidermis comes out. पूर्ण वरची skin निघून जाते. Whole of skin. It's like a burn. Okay. So when there is a whole of the skin comes out, it is known as TEN. So when the body surface area is less than 10%, it is a Steven Johnson. If it is more than 30%, it's a toxic epidermal necrolysis. Now typically SJS can go into TEN slowly as it worsens. So again, here treatment is now the Dexa and cyclosporine and IVIG is being used. Obviously, there is no sure shot therapy. You have to treat it. Prednisolone 1 to 2 mg per kg you give. IVIG we do try, and supportive therapy. You have to treat it as a burn patient in the ICU. Take the care of the skin, and this is one thing where patients and many times I know physicians and family physicians are the worst affected. You know, moment patient gets all, I have seen patients gathering around front of doctor and making noises and taking money and all sorts of things. So this is, you must diagnose early, think of it and refer. Please just don't refer. Please see that the patient gets admitted and follow it up with the doctor whom you know. Now these reaction, if you take, most of them will complete and will be okay by 1 to 2 weeks. Like urticaria can disappear in 1 to 2 weeks. Maculopapular rash can go away with scaling. Steven Johnson also can come down. If the good treatment, you can actually get almost 50 to 80% patient can recover in most of the patients. But early diagnosis and referral is important, because few of the one patient dying off and you are giving an injection, it's a bad thing to happen to your practice. So remember that, think of the reaction and please send it to doctor. Share your responsibility. Always refer and take the opinion. And remember, the dermatologists are the best to diagnose the disease, this disease, because we are trained it and we see this day in and day out. So we know what is what. So just last few slides. So when you see a drug reaction, simple thing first you ask, is it caused by a drug or not drug? If there's a history of drug, think of a drug allergy. If there's no history of drug, think of virus. Mechanism, try to find out whether patient has got reaction which is a maculopapular type, pustular type, vascular or a blister type, or SJS. One sign is if patient has got eye involvement. Now remember, if patient got eye involvement with maculopapular rash, it is something wrong. If there is an involvement of oral lesions and eye and body skin, patient is in deep trouble because all the symptoms involved. So if patient got red eye and maculopapular eruption, it has to be a drug reaction. Remember that. Less likely virus. If patient got oral ulcers and skin rash, it has to be drug allergy. So remember that. So please check. A good torch, you should be able to differentiate this, and this is important. Don't try to shrug off responsibility. Don't say that I have given nothing, I just given paracetamol to the patient. This is not mine. Don't say this is what I have given, and this is, look, this is unfortunate thing has happened, but let's try to control it. That is important. Way. Don't try to hide it away. When you try to hide the thing, I have nothing, there's nothing wrong. Hey, everybody gets suspicion that you have done something wrong. So remember that the drug allergy is not the problem with the patient, with the doctor, but it's the drug which has caused it. Your job is to diagnose and refer it. Don't try to treat it on your OPD basis. Yeah, so if there is a drug, then please, if you know the drug, now typically these drugs are one most dangerous to cause allergy. One is sulfonamide, which you don't use nowadays. Dapsone we use only for leprosy. Painkillers, all kind of painkillers, especially Combiflam, Brufen. Earlier, there were serious like Sugandril and other older drugs were phenylbutazone, oxyfen were the most dangerous. But newer drugs are relatively safe. So if patient has got reaction to NSAID, what he can give is, you can give them plain paracetamol, plain tramadol, and plain nimesulide. These are drugs which are relatively safe. But don't try to give Combiflam, Brufen, diclofenac, and avoid these injections as far as possible because reaction can occur to these drugs. So drug reactions are important. Is take home message or they are stay home message. You are all staying at home. So these are iatrogenic. What does it mean is we don't know what is the cause. It's iatrogenic. And first do no harm. First you find out what is the thing. History is important. All OTC drug, what patient has taken from the pharmacy is important. Patient gets one tablet of Brufen, one painkiller in the night. He forgets that, and next day he gets rash. He said, hey, nothing, I have done nothing. You have taken a painkiller tablet. Most of drug reactions are manageable. Only 3 to 5% are dangerous. What are the red flags? Patient has got systemic. Any patient who gets fever, joint pain, eye problem, oral lesions, genital lesions is dangerous. If rash is extensive, more than 10%, it is a bad sign. If there is a skin detachment or blister, it's a bad sign. And involvement of mucous membrane is sure short Stevens-Johnson. Remember that. Eyes and genitalia involved. Please try to check genitalia. I know many times you don't check, but if patient got eye lesions, please take out the pupil skin and see for things. If you see blisters there, it is sure short Stevens-Johnson. And you can always give them a diary to say, look, these are the drugs you should avoid. I think this is my last slide. Yeah, thank you very much for listening. I have tried to give a very simple prescription and thing what I have found in last 30 years, many of the patients, what they do. So in fact, all the doctors, please, important is, you may not need skin specialist, but at least for drug reaction, you need a skin specialist and one good hospital nearby your area, whom you should be comfortable with. You should get admitted. So any patient, please admit. That is the best way. Don't try to hurry listing. And other thing is, if you get, please take the opinion of your doctor's colleague also. You can ask anybody. You can ask me also, Dr. SSI, my photo. Now it's simple. You just send the photo to me. Remember, even if you just send a photo, I can tell you, look, this looks like yours. There is something wrong, do this. It's important that when you come, please take a photograph. If you see a maculopapular rash, because you may not be diagnosed, but I can diagnose it. by looking at the site also. So important is take the photograph, note down, document it, keep a separate book. If you got some reaction, now patients are, this is what has happened and he has time come this time. But this is important when something wrong happens. Patient goes to court, you have something to show. Look, I have taken the precaution, I have referred him, I have called him, I have visited him. That is important. And don't try to, patient will ask for money. It is not the thing. You are not at loss. You try to save the patient and give him the best possible treatment. I think, yeah, that's all from my side. Thank you all for patiently listening. Over to you, Dr. Arun.
Thank you, Dr. Godse, sir. You rightly said, do not harm and act in right time. I would like to share some one slide which I have prepared, that this instruction I think everyone should display at their clinic. I have prepared these instructions and then I kept in my notice board. I think this has helped a lot to all, because everyone should know that those patients comes to us should know that anything can happen to anybody, at any time. So we should aware about these allergic reactions to them. So thank you, Dr. Godse, sir. Over to Dr. S.V. Kulkarni, sir. Dr. S.V. Kulkarni, sir's topic is
Yes.
concept combinations and management of anaphylactic reactions. So over to Dr. S.V. Kulkarni, sir.
Yes, please stop your screen sharing, Arun. Thank you very much. This is the way in which the boss of the organization speaks. Dr. Kiran Godse has really done a wonderful job, absolutely wonderful job, and he has made my talk very easy and simple. And Kiran, I appreciated your all points of concern for every practitioner. You have given really very, very practical points of management. So friends, what we know about life-threatening condition called as anaphylaxis, and what are our ideas of drug safety. This was what our panel of experts in NMDF decided to speak on the Doctor's Day, rather than having just only empty best wishes and flowers, virtual flowers and cakes on the pole. I think this is one.
So your voice is cracking, so you can stop your video, sir. You can click on
Then
it.
these two things are again interdependent.
Kulkarni, sir, your voice is cracking. You can stop.
Voice.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm stopping my video. I'm stopping my video.
Right.
Okay.
That's it.
Now it is okay.
Okay.
Yes. And there are many things in allergy. You have to ask so many questions, eggs, peanuts. Now, it's sometimes a messy thing. It can be as simple as a runny nose and itching eyes to a patient who is gasping for breath. So anaphylaxis is something which is really very bad if it is not managed properly. It's a life-threatening emergency. It is rewarding if it is treated in time. The right drug, right route, right dose, it can make or break your practice. I have seen people leaving the practice places just because of one death due to anaphylaxis. What is aim of our today's exercise? Kiran has given us a wonderful information about the basics. Now, what I'm going to tell you is how to recognize and treat adults with anaphylaxis, what dosages of medications are appropriate for the treatment, what you should keep in your clinic and you should recheck it regularly, which are the medications which you should avoid in patients of anaphylaxis. Just a textbook definition, anaphylaxis is an acute life-threatening event and its incidence is increasing, but it is fully treatable if managed in time. This is, friends, this is a test of your competence as a doctor. And you can be really a hero if you manage a case very nicely. It's a big public issue. People are not aware. When US population was 25 crores, there were drug-induced deaths to the extent of 1,56,000. This is a very old statistics. I don't know what is happening now. 6.7% of the hospitalized patients have a serious adverse drug reaction with a fatality rate of almost 0.32. and there are more than 22 lakh serious ARDs, that is adverse drug reactions in hospital patient, causing almost lack of deaths. So don't consider that this is not a very minor problem. It's very significant. I'm going to repeat certain things for your information, and just to that it should be imbibed in your mind, so that in the night at 3 o'clock in the morning also, if somebody asks you dose of adrenaline or what are the things which can cause anaphylaxis, you should be ready for that. So these are the allergens which cause Ig dependent immunological mechanism. Foods: peanuts, tree nuts, crustaceans like shellfish, finfish, milk, as well as egg. Egg is very important. Insect stings, Hymenoptera, insect bites. Medications, whole list: antibiotics, NSAIDs, diclofenac, tinidazole. Please ask the drug history to a patient, not once, twice, but thrice. Biological materials like immunotherapy agents, chemotherapy agents, and sometimes vaccines. Natural rubber like latex, condoms, gloves, catheter. Food additives like spices, insect-derived colorants, and vegetable gums. Inhalants, even though it is rare, but horse dander, cat dander, and grass pollens, which can cause allergy. So this is the list and the percentage wise which is available here. You can see the list, all the penicillin group, then even artesunate, sulfa, cipro, diclo, paracetamol, colloids, IV colloids. Even sometimes ranitidine can have problem. Local anesthetist, then iron sucrose which people give, oxytocics, contrast media, even blood products, and the anti-snake venom or the tetanus toxoid vaccine, which looks like very innocent, but that also can cause problems. So ask any person who takes an injection of TT to wait for half an hour. It can be anything. It can be a simple dot like this, it can be a lip swelling like this, or with eye swelling the patient is running to you. It differs from one patient to another. Anaphylaxis has got 1,000 different phases. So you have to try to recognize them at earliest as possible. So what may be the complaint or may be the symptom of the person? Sometimes he may say, I'm confused, headache, or even lose consciousness, wheezing, cough, difficulty in breathing air, skin covered, but abdominal pain, vomiting, fast heart rate, धड़कन होती है बहुत, swollen pleplantic and swollen eyes, loss of consciousness, hives, and this is the way in which the killer tongue. The tongue can kill in a second way, that it falls back and kills the patient. And rapid swelling of the throat tissues causes stridor. Stridor is a continuous type of voice which the patient has got during its breathing, and this is very dangerous. It indicates compromised airways. So you have to rush at this time. What are the diagnostic criteria? Acute onset of any illness, like within minutes, several hours, involving skin, mucosal tissue, both, hives, pruritus, flushing, swollen lips, tongue, and uvula. And one of this, what is one of the respiratory component? Dyspnea, wheeze, bronchospasm, stridor, or hypoxemia detected on the pulse oximeter, hypotension, or associated symptoms of end organ dysfunction, like extreme hypotonia, collapse, syncope, incontinence. See, these are very funny things, but पेशेंट के नातेवाईक काय कंप्लेंट करतात की आदमी एकदम लूज हो गया इंजेक्शन देने के बाद, दैट इज हाइपोटोनिया. Suddenly collapsing is different, chakkar is different. But if the patient is incontinent, that means he has passed his urine or stool after an injection or any drug, that is serious, and this patient needs hospitalization. So Dr. Kiran, you have given a very good message to everybody that what you need to have is a good dermatologist as your friend and a good nearby hospital who will start managing the patient when the patient has got some problems. And these are the one of the other three criteria. That is in skin, mucosal tissue, respiratory, reduced BP, persistent gastrointestinal symptoms like crampy abdominal pain, vomiting, and reduced BP after exposure to known allergen less than 90 to 60 or 30% of the previous systolic one. Remember, anaphylaxis can present with only hypotension. Urticaria and angioedema are deadly duos. It can also occur as a feature of viral infection. and the causes can be not identified. But angioedema is the most dangerous and it is refractory. It's a swelling caused by the fluid leakage from blood vessels into surrounding skin and tissue like lips, tongues, eyelids, genitals. That is the importance of examining genitals. Hands and feet are common site of swelling. When affecting the eyelids, this is periorbital edema. The whole socket is involved. Non-allergic drug-induced angioedema should be considered in a patient with angioedema in absence of urticaria. And the biggest drugs which are important for this is the ACE inhibitors. Hereditary is very rare. Forget about it. So the sign and symptoms, I'm just recapitulating. It involves skin, it involves oral mucous cavity, respiratory, gastrointestinal, cardiovascular things. Cardiovascular thing, it can even end into a MI and cardiac arrest, even though rare, but it can be a big problem when the patient has got lot many comorbidities. There are a lot of neurological symptoms, anxiety, apprehension, sense of impending doom. मला बरं वाटत नाही, मला माझं काही खरं नाही असा जर एखादा पेशंट म्हणला ना तर त्याला यू हॅव टू ऍक्सेप्ट हिम, बिकॉज त्याचं पण खरं नाही आणि जास्त प्रॉब्लेम झाला तर तुमचं पण खरं नाही त्याच्यामध्ये. यू हैव टू रिस्पेक्ट द पेशेंट सिम्टम्स. डोंट से दैट काय होणार नहीं, डोंट वरी, अच्छा अच्छा हो जाएगा, मैंने दवा दी है, आपको स्टीरॉइड का गोली दिया है, घर में जाके खा के लो अच्छा आएगा. The children may cling, cry, become irritable, or most important, cease to play. They will not play. Ocular symptoms are periorbital itching, dry eyes, erythema, edema, excessive tearing and conjunctival erythema. Perioral circumoral tingling numbness is the first sign of streptomycin toxicity. There can be cramps in women and girls. There are 3 recurrent forms of anaphylaxis. One is called as the uniphasic, which is very common. Biphasic may be around 5 to 7%. Protracted is very rare, and that can be it has to be managed very carefully in hospitalized patients. So biphasic and protracted require hospitalization. This is a very good review which we can check on the internet, and I'm going to give you 2 more documents to support it. But remember, you are given a very simple drug like COVID vaccine or a TT to a patient, and patient can take complaints of vague complaints. So these are the 2 conditions which you must remember in your mind. See, we are clinicians. We are all clinicians. This is my 41st year of clinical medicine, which I started in 1980. Must have seen almost a million patients. Vasovagal syndrome, the clinical differentiation from anaphylaxis is there is bradycardia, not tachycardia. There is a pallor rather than flushing. There is no pruritus, urticaria, angioedema, upper respiratory obstruction or bronchospasm, nausea. There is nausea, but there is no abdominal pain. Give 1 atropine, patient becomes all right. Globus hystericus, there is some gain. पेशेंट बोलता है कि दवा आपने दिया, इंजेक्शन दवा, इसके लिए मुझे इतना प्रॉब्लम हो गया, इतना हॉस्पिटलाइज होगा, कॉम्पेंसेट करो. So it is all the big problem. So there is no clinical or radiological evidence of your upper involvement, no flushing pruritus, and you can easily understand the patient is pining for money. There is a class effect of ACE and ARBs. Angioedema induced by ACE inhibitors is mediated by bradykinin, not associated with urticaria, and it involves lips, face, tongue, upper airway, genitals, and peripherals. Just stop that drug. The incidence is almost 1 to 2%. Now, let us take one patient which is very common in some of the smaller hospitals. The 65-year-old male with multiple risk factors. He is in discomfort, is unable to pass urine, distended bladder. He has distended tender bladder. You diagnose acute urinary retention with, and you try to insert a urinary catheter. Within few minutes after the procedure, he becomes acutely breathless with facial and tongue edema, widespread articular rash. He tells you that he has eaten a prawn, egg, cheese, mayonnaise, sandwich, and was hypertensive, and he is on ARB inhibitors. So we have got a list of differential diagnoses. He is already on aspirin. It can be aspirin allergy, it can be shellfish allergy, it can be egg allergy, it can be vasovagal reaction, ACE inhibitor allergy, latex allergy because you are wearing a gloves. The catheter is also made of gloves, and you are using chlorhexidine for urinary catheterization. And what exactly cause? The exact cause of the reaction is chlorhexidine allergy, since his reaction occurred immediately after you inserted a urinary catheter. Anesthetic gels used for catheterization also contain chlorhexidine. It is widely used to decontaminate the skin and is present in wide range of medical products, devices, so sensitization common, right from mouthwash to suppositories. Latex as a possible cause of allergic reactions, although the introduction of powder-free and low-protein gloves have reduced rates of sensitization. The history of food ingestion is slightly too long, it has more than 2 hours. And it is possible that he had a vasovagal reaction to the procedure, but facial and tongue edema are more consistent with the allergic reaction. So there can be, my point of telling is there can be many causative factors in one particular case. So you have to be ready. I put it into the chat box, but without causing any delay, I will tell you what you should use is 0.5 ml of intramuscular adrenaline, which is conventionally available. These are the things which are not available in our country.
There is no voice from
Competition. Always keep it ready. Anything, Arun?
Sir, आवाज जातोय मध्ये मध्ये तुमचा.
Now it is clear.
Yeah, it's clear now.
Now, so adrenaline action, it is a vasoconstrictor, it is a bronchodilator, reduces mast cell degradation, increases blood pressure. It may cause palpitations. Don't worry about it. This is the drug of choice, and always keep it ready. Adrenaline is always a priority. These are the various definitions and mechanisms of actions. Don't give subcutaneous. Don't be afraid of adrenaline in anaphylaxis. Intravenous is dangerous. So it has been found that if you give intramuscularly, then the absorption is very good. Points to remember while injecting. And outer and middle thigh. Adrenaline saves life. Cause of death is
Arun, I think he has lost his connection. We'll take the question.
You are disconnected.
Yeah, he will come.
But am I audible now?
Yes,
am I audible now?
Please go ahead, sir. You are audible.
Yeah.
So we can see.
So we were talking about adrenaline. Adrenaline is a wonder drug. Don't get
so people
afraid of using in this drug.
How to inject?
So yes, needles should be 23. Needle length should be long. Check the color. If it is brown, don't use it. So get a fresh one. Remember, adrenaline saves life. The cause of death can be not using adrenaline, not enough dose, not enough time, and within the time limit. According to me, the first 30 minutes is the golden half hour of management of urticaria. How to indicate? It has to be given intramuscularly. If the patient who has become hypotensive should lie flat and if possible raise their legs to increase the venous return, and don't place the patient suddenly into upright condition. It is dangerous. It may even precipitate cardiac arrest due to contraction of the empty heart. This is called as the empty heart syndrome. And one of the biggest don't be, these are called as the EpiPens, and the dictum is it can be given even through genes, blue to the sky and orange to the thigh, and just press it, it delivers the effective dose of adrenaline for the patient who is suffering from anaphylaxis. What are the steps to be taken immediately if you get some patient like this? Shock position, who is lying down on the back, leg elevated by 8 to 12 inches. Pregnant lady, left lateral position. Check response. If the patient is collapsed, tap on his shoulder and ask him, are you all right? Do you have any problems? If in response you activate your friends, activate your ambulance, whatever the way, if you have got something like AED or defibrillator, keep it ready. Check for the carotid pulse, and if breathing, if patient is pulseless, then you have to give CPR along with adrenaline. Maintain the airway with oropharyngeal airway as per consciousness of the patient. If angiometer is there, early intubation may be indicated. Stridor is not a very good indication. Stridor is dangerous. Start with a low flow oxygen. If there is severe bronchial spasm, nebulization is salbutamol and budecort. Even you can use adrenaline for nebulization for upper airway vasoconstriction and laryngeal edema. If the patient is not breathing enough, back mask ventilation if the patient is not adequately breathing and maintaining oxygen saturation. Or by any chance somebody is having a BiPAP ventilator, that is one of the simple things. You have to just put on the mask and start the machine. It takes the pressures automatically. Any BiPAP machine nowadays, because of the less incidence of corona, cost hardly 15 to 20,000 or maximum 30,000. So you have to be ready with all these things if you want to save the patient in your clinic. I am just repeating the things because you should not forget. Take IV access with a large bore needle or Gelco, but take at two sites. Why? In one site, you may require IV adrenaline in case of resistant shock, or on the other side, you may require large amount of fluids. Choice of the fluid should be normal saline or ringer laterate. Fast fluid replacement is very important. 1 to 2 liters of NS fast through the bilateral venous access. In children, 20 milligram per kg or even higher dose, and these patients may need even 3 to 4 liters of fluids. And what you are supposed to avoid, that is over-infusion and fluid overload, especially in patients who are diabetic, hypertensive, history of myocardial infarction, and those who are in congestive cardiac failure. So avoid fluid overload in such patients. These are the two lines is very important, which you have to keep reading. Now, if the person has improved initially, 2-3 minutes, he says, I feel all right. But again, after 5 minutes, he is not improving. Clinically, vitals do not show improvement. Getting worse or fails to improve, second dose will not cause harm, but the patient will definitely improve. Do not wait for 30 minutes. So 0.5 ml of adrenaline intramuscular, wait for 5 minutes, repeat after 5 minutes. That should be the funda, and you should be in a position to tell you to any of your colleague immediately. So always check your stock. It is absolutely must. These are the common drugs which we use. This is it is a betnosol injection, but these are adrenaline is one of the most important, and you have to check your drugs regularly. This slide, Arun, you should circulate to each and every person who is attending this program. You should have adrenaline 1 ml, expiry date is only 1 year. Finargan, 25 milligram in 2 ml. It can be, it go in IM slow. There is a syrup available also. 2 milligram per kg is the dose. CPM, it is a painful injection, 1 milligram per kg. CPM, again 1 milligram per kg. That is Benadryl. Lower fast milk tablet to reduce the itching because it is a 5-HT antagonist. Then your good old friends H2 receptor antagonist ranitidine, or even you can have dispersible tablets like Histec DVT. Methylprednisolone at your hand, 40 milligram to 500 milligram vials are available. 2 milligram per kg is the dose. Hydrocortisone, again 5 milligram per kg IV, because hydrocortisone acts quite fast. If not available, you can use Decadron, but Decadron takes time for action. The Decadron vials expiry again is very short, 18 months, and betnesol is 1 milligram in 4 milligram. The expiry is around 26 months. So please check this cricket team in your clinic. It is very, very important. In case you come across any patient of anaphylaxis, you should be in a position to manage. So the second dose, we just talked about it: respiratory difficulty, wheezing, hypotension. Do not ignore symptoms, patient. And please remember, in such crises, patient and mother are the best judge. So don't tell them that you can go home and I will pass on some tablets to you. It can be a very disastrous thing. There are many clinical aspects of anaphylaxis, but we should go with caution and what is important in all our day-to-day practice. If the patient doesn't improve even after adrenaline, this is called as a resistant anaphylaxis. Isoprenaline, these are the drugs, aminophylline, then non-adrenergic vasopressors like vasopressin, norepinephrine. These are all the things which are going to be given by in the hospital. This is methylene blue is also very wonderful drug. And of all the things, if nothing works, you be with the patient and put 1 ampule of adrenaline into 500 ml of normal saline, give 10 ml boluses 3 times, and then start a drip of 2 ml per minute of IV adrenaline. This will take care of the resistance anaphylaxis. Those patients who are on beta blockers can be a bit problem. If the patient gives a history that he is on his hypertension for which take a beta blocker, then what dose of adrenaline should give? Twice the dose, half the dose, quarter of the dose, normal dose? The answer is normal dose. Don't alter the drug. And if not possible, you can use a injection called as a glucose costing around 800 rupees, a drug of choice for hypoglycemia. This is one more patient. He's a 27-year-old man with anaphylaxis. Half an hour after initial treatment, he feels much better and wants to go home. छान वाटतं मला, आता मी घरी जातो. What is your advice? He can go home, but will need adrenaline second dose. म्हणून त्याला एक injection देऊन टाका. He can go home, but will need a course of oral steroids. He can go home, but need a course of antihistaminics. He can go home, but need for call for medical assistance if the symptoms return. मग परत ये, मग तुला बघतो. And the last is he should stay for observation. And friends, the answer is the person should stay for observation for a condition called as a biphasic reaction. So if the storm is over, patients who had anaphylactic reaction should be observed at least for 6 hours. With 1 to 20% of the patient, it can happen. Antihistaminic or second line treatment like hydrocortisone, you should observe in the hospital, and 6 hours after the emergency department of the anaphylaxis patient feels well and reviewed by a senior clinician. Please see that he doesn't have postural hypertension. Lying down, suppose he is 120/80, and sitting, if he is 100/60, he is not a candidate. He requires to be given IV fluids because his fluid volume is not corrected. Most important, communication tips to the patient. What Dr. Arun has given you the board to be given on the clinic. Always tell your patient that if they are allergic to a drug, give the patient information about the medical devices which they can use. Tell to mention their allergies to any other doctor they see. If you refer the patient to another doctor, tell the doctor about the allergies. Always write a patient's allergies at the front of the note, left upper corner here, and write in a red color. Put a system in place so that your staff also knows that that patient has got some allergy and we can take a good care of it. Please ask history of allergy. Even such kind of boards are compulsory even in the restaurants also for knowing that you can have allergic to peanuts, tree nuts, soya beans, milk, or egg. Well, somebody was asking about what are the blood tests we should request for the patient, like right from CBC eosinophilia, IgE. Tryptase is one test which comes positive only within the 6 hours of onset of anaphylaxis. It is very costly. Complement inhibitor levels, immunoglobulins may not be prognostic diagnostic value. Multiple allergy panels are available. we have to decide individually. So we have got lot many allergy consultants in Navi Mumbai, Panvel, and Raigadi area. We can consult about allergy situation and avoiding that allergy or desensitization. This is my last 2-3 slides. Suppose worse come worse. There is a patient who develops acute myocardial infarction after anaphylaxis. Is it common? No, not that common. But can it happen? Yes, it can happen. This is called as a Cohen's syndrome. It is a concurrence of acute coronary syndrome or anginal pain, and it is because of the severe mast cell and platelet activation involving interrelated, interreacting inflammatory cells. It is like a cytokine storm within the heart in the setting of allergy and hypersensitivity and anaphylactic shock. It can cause MI, it can cause acute cardiac failure, sudden cardiac death, everything is same. And 13% of the adult onset sudden cardiac deaths are coupled with mast cell deregulation, in concluding that Cohen's syndrome can involve a silent allergic reaction. There are 3 types of Cohen's syndrome, which need not go into the detail. But if somebody faces this type of situation, don't worry, don't get afraid. It is a common clinical situation, and this can be also cause of death. Now, after anaphylaxis, we had 2 more topics to be considered, but I'm going to go in very brief because I already crossed 22 minutes. Drug treatment is always individualized, but at the same time, it is dangerous because it is a chemical. It is our common question. It is a common thing in our family that इसको डायबिटीज है उसका गोली मैं लेता है, इसको दमा है इसका गोली मैं लेता है. Don't do like that. Do not copy drugs from other prescriptions or any other old family members quota. Few drugs are totally outdated, but they are still available in medical stores, like Entroquinol, khaki tablet for diarrhea, very famous. Many drug effects are familiar, genetic. For example, dystonias after antiemetic drugs, more, but they are more with what? The older molecules. You might not have seen an injection called as a sequel. It was a very thick injection. Then came Stemetil, then came Perinol, and it is less with Domperidone and Ondansetron group. So these are the safer drugs. These are the drugs which can cause EPS, extrapyramidal reaction. पेशंटला बऱ्याच वेळा विचारलं तर पेशंट काय सांगतात की ते असं पिळल्यासारखं वाटतं, त्यांना मान पिळून टाकल्यासारखी वाटते उलटीचं औषध घेतल्यानंतर. So these are the patients who are developing EPS. For these people, drug of choice is injection Phenargan or Avil, which is very painful. If not possible, straightway give injection Compose in 10 ml, 25% glucose. That will help to reduce the thing. Otherwise, it is a very, very frustrating condition, and the patient will blame you for the rest of the life. What are the other safe drugs and unsafe combinations? Be familiar with one class of drugs, one molecule. Suppose you are a family practitioner and you are using some antidepressant or anxiolytic. Or try to use only Prodep, or try to use only tricyclic antidepressant depending upon the situation. Don't try to mix and match the things. There are certain drugs in first few hours and then wane off. That's called as a tachyphylaxis. Means if you give the patient phenobarbital, you have to caution them that they are going to feel sleepy for 3 to 4 days, but then after the normal sleep will resume. But there are certain drugs like Prasupress, which is given either for BPH or resistant hypertension. Here they have to tell very clearly patient that please don't get up from the lying down position suddenly. You can have the land up into a syncope. So gradual change of position, lying down, wait for half a minute, sitting, wait for half a minute, and standing. But normally this all happens in the night when they have to go to bathroom and they suddenly fall down. Warn the patient in case he feels anything abnormal or odd. It is his idea. There are certain drugs which cause blue halos around the light which comes in front of you. And one of them is digoxin and another them is sildenafil. One gentleman had consumed 100 ml of sildenafil, and after the party, he was seeing all the lights blue. And then he was really terrified, as if some odd thing has happened. So you have to warn that there are potential side effects. And very important, there are many LASA, look alike, sound alike, spell alike drugs exist in the market. They cause confusion and even to the death. This has happened in Thane. The patient was having vomiting. The sister asked doctor what is to be given. He said Perinorm. The sister understood as Pavlon, and Pavlon is given, and you know what Pavlon causes. So you have to be very, very careful, and you have got a very easy way in your laptop or in your mobile. That is called as a drug interaction checker.
Wait for a minute. There is a bandwidth problem. Dr. S.V. Kulkarni will come later. Yeah. Dr. Godse sir, we will take some questions. If
yeah, आपण question घेऊ. In fact, खूप late झाले already.
Late झाले. Sir, some question as asked. Patient sensitive to penicillin, can he take COVID vaccine? What precaution he should take?
Yeah. Now remember, every day I am getting calls. Please, history of urticaria, history of drug allergy is not a contraindication for COVID vaccine. कळलं, penicillin sulfa कुठली allergy असली तर he can safely take this thing. Problem काय होतो की when they go there is one column, have you got allergy? And patient says yes, I got sulfa allergy. ते लगेच cross करतात and they send you back. They don't understand that this allergy is different, so you don't say you got allergy and take the vaccine. In fact, the story is one of the doctor who had an allergy to sulfa didn't take drug and she got COVID in Mumbai. So please, drug allergy is not a contraindication. Please take vaccine.
One more question, sir. Can doxycycline can cause Stevens-Johnson?
Yeah. Doxycycline, all tetra groups can cause this thing. Doxycycline, it can cause Stevens-Johnson, drug allergy. Doxycycline can cause everything, including urticaria or a drug allergy or this thing. So doxy is, but that way it is safe compared to older drugs. But theoretically, yes.
The safest antibiotic that a family physician should prescribe. You want to think?
Yeah, somebody got allergy, you can safely give azithromycin or clarithromycin. Clarithromycin is less often used, and you can suspect that you can give clarithromycin 500 BD or 250 BD. That is the best way to they can take safer drug rather than using tetracycline or anything else.
I request all to start their video and unmute themselves, and you can ask questions directly to Dr. Kiran Godse. Dr. Mohan Jotwani is there. He has raised his hand. Dr. Mohan Jotwani, do you want to ask anything?
Yeah. Before that, I just want to tell you that angioedema and anaphylaxis need to be differentiated. When you give injection to patients, three things can happen. One, a vasovagal attack. Patient gets up and falls down. Very common in our lab. Every month it happens. That is due to sudden pain. So, and such patient has to lie down, raise his leg up. Patient is okay. Second is angioedema. Patient comes with urticaria and angioedema. So that is not anaphylaxis. That is just swelling of the lips. If there is anaphylaxis, please take his pulse. It will be hypotension. It will tell you that it's anaphylaxis. If it is normal pulse and normal blood pressure, it is angioedema. So these differences is important to you understand.
May I ask one question, sir?
Yes, please.
Bola.
Sir, suppose a person is taking suppose anti-diabetic drug like Cyclazide, the same patient will have allergy.
I think, sir, his question is like that. Most of Glimepiride and it contains sulfur. So, this patient is allergic to sulfur. Does he be allergic to diabetic drug also?
No. Now remember, sulfa drugs and sulfonamides are different. Okay, so sulfa drugs is sulfadiazine, sulfamethoxazole, sulfapyridine are the sulfa drugs. Sulfonamides are used as anti-diabetics. Generally, there is no cross allergy, so he can take this thing. But if you're not sure, you start with a quarter tablet, half tablet, and then give full tablet to understand. But typically, they can take all these sulfonamides like glibenclamide, chlorpropamide, and all these things.
Hello, can I ask questions, sir?
Yeah, please.
Sir, for example,
Hello.
gliptin group, there are 4 gliptins. If patient is allergic to vildagliptin, then what about, is he allergic to the other gliptin also?
See, now gliptins are that way risky. Gliptins can cause urticaria. Gliptins can cause angioedema also. And once a same group drug, it is better not to give same group drug to the patient. You can give something else.
Thank you, sir.
You can't cross react. You can't give one to other.
Hello.
Yes, please.
Hello. One of my family member is had an anaphylactic reaction to a food before 10 years, like. So can he take a COVID and this thing vaccine now? Anyone?
History of anaphylaxis. If patient got a history of anaphylaxis,
yes,
like you are telling, food induced, was it a true anaphylaxis? Then,
yeah,
well,
true
then
anaphylaxis.
Then you have to be extra careful. In fact, the allergy specialists have started doing prick testing with COVID vaccine to see whether you're allergic to that. So those who
that only we want.
Yeah. So
okay.
That you can go to allergy specialist. They do prick test with the COVID vaccine and check.
Okay, because he has already tested other means for his allergy tested. We can go for that. Okay, thank you very much.
Sir, can I ask a question?
Please go ahead.
Sir, in some 5 years back in Calcutta, some patient had died of Steven Johnson, and doctor was sued for 5 or 10 crore. Whether there was a fault of doctor or it's anybody can get it, no? Steven Johnson. Why he was sued? Any reason?
Basically, there the dermatologist was. In fact, that is what I was telling. The Kenacort was given for Steven Johnson. Kenacort is a slow-acting drug. It's a depot preparation. And actually, he should be given a dexamethasone or a hydrocortisone. So that was actually has taken that doctor's fault, and that's why he is being charged with some big this thing fine. And well, it is true because you cannot give Kenacort for Steven Johnson syndrome. Kenacort is a depot preparation; it will not act fast on the Steven Johnson syndrome. We should have given a dexamethasone or hydrocortisone.
So many times the additives in an injectable can cause, or additives in a tablet can cause allergic reactions. So how to find out that?
Yeah, see now typically I always tell the patient with urticaria or allergic reaction, avoid colored items. All these Chinese bread, orange, red, Chinese chicken, lollipop, all these have got red color in it, and which can cause allergy, which is known as pseudoallergic reaction. Similarly, highly colored tablets, we don't know what are the colors they are added, which can cause allergic reaction or urticaria reaction. So preferably, see, the best purity of the tablet is seen by, if there's a pure tablet, should be white in color. You know, when they add too many colors to the tablet, it's a risky. Those who have got allergy, they can get allergy to that colors. So avoid this red, orange, blue, dark colors thing, which is either in the food preparation or this thing. In fact, I'll tell you the fact, yesterday night only I got a call, patient got allergy after he took a protein bar. The protein bar had got brown color, and it has got flavored with ice cream and brown cake flavor, and patient got urticaria. So all these colored items and freshly frozen or the canned food should be avoided. All these highly colored items, they are the colors which can cause allergy. So preferably avoid that.
Sir, one more question regarding vaccination. If somebody is sensitive to sulfa, these vaccine people, they ask for a certificate from the general practitioner. Why it is so?
Now, please understand.
Doctor will be responsible. They like that only.
Listen to me. Don't see. Drug allergy is not a contraindication for COVID vaccination. But what happens is there is a first column that have you got allergy, and patient says yes, then he is in trouble because the multi-purpose worker there will not give vaccine. So in fact, you must instruct the patient that go to some other center, tell them that I have got no allergy and take the vaccine. We cannot give a certificate to the patient that he has got a thing. To give a certificate, we have to prove, or we should have a documentary evidence, or we should have a test to show that patient is allergic to that particular drug. So preferably, do not give certificate like that. Tell the patient to choose another center and go there and blindly say, I have got no allergy and take vaccine.
Sir, COVID can have urticaria, sir?
Yes, yes. COVID can present as urticaria, but typically with lots of steroid, it disappears on its own with levocetirizine. But patient gets urticaria or maculopapular rash with fever and with all the symptoms, think of COVID, but only urticaria, do not think of COVID.
Severe urticaria.
No.
Requiring high dose of steroid.
Yeah, see, severe urticaria without any symptoms is not COVID.
With fever.
Yeah, then you need to get admitted, obviously. Then see, urticaria with fever, please think of COVID.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, can we give adrenaline one injection subcutaneous and another injection intramuscular, 2 injections at a time? Whether it will be
not at all. Not at all. Intramuscular only, subcutaneous doesn't help. It is not insulin. It is not going to act for 24 hours. It has to act immediately only.
No, 2 injections for safer side.
No, there is nothing like safer side. If the patient is having problem, then he will end up with lot of tachycardia and other things. See, let us not deviate from the guidelines which are practiced all over the world. This is the standard way in which anaphylaxis should be managed, and people are getting good results out of it. Your subcutaneous absorption is going to be very, very delayed and erratic. And the patient may come out with of anaphylaxis, but will blame you for severe amount of tachycardia. So I will just talk about it. Arun, can I continue with my slides? Last 5 slides.
Yeah, please.
Okay. So what I request all of you that you download Medscape, you become a member of it. It is very easy. It is free. So click on drugs and then you get, suppose you have got a drug like warfarin. All the things are there. I had a patient who was having tuberculosis and one day she developed epilepsy. So I wanted to add phenytoin and I just interaction checker and I got that rifampicin will decrease the level or effect of phenytoin by affecting hepatic enzyme metabolism, and significant interactions are possible. You have to monitor closely. What you can do in your day-to-day practice also. See, this is a very common prescription for all of us. The patient has got azithromycin, levocetirizine, promethazine, that is Phenergan, and dextromethorphan in the cough syrup. But at the same time, this patient is having atrial fibrillation. So he is on metoprolol, amiodarone. He has not given you the history. With these 6 drugs, there are 7 interactions which are possible. Serious. Promethazine and amiodarone should be avoided. Amiodarone, metoprolol can cause long QT interval. Azithromycin can cause long QT interval. Promethazine and azithromycin can cause problems. So you will come to know at least the major reactions and will try to avoid the drug which is less significant and keep the drug which is most important. So in this case, what we can do is we will keep azithromycin, we'll avoid promethazine, we'll avoid dextromethorphan, and just continue with only levocetirizine. So this is a very smart way of looking towards drug interactions. What you can do is, and you can you need not do it yourself. Your assistant also can do. So friends, my last 2 slides, anaphylaxis can be caused by so many causes, and adrenaline is time to savior. It can save your life. It can save your practice. Anything that can cause anaphylaxis, but be aware of penicillin, sulfas, diclofenac. I request everybody to avoid diclofenac. Then even things like latex, rubber, and tinidazole, all of above or in combination can cause you problems. So I request the NMDF authorities, like a very practical CME like this. We should take common symptoms, difficult clinical settings, the patient, caregiver, and family physician's reactions and attitude towards a problem. Take the practical difficulties you encounter to implement good results and good practices. So it is in the words of William Osler, our father of clinical medicine, he has written very nicely that the young physician starts his life with 20 drugs for each disease, and the old physician, the senior one, ends his life with 1 drug for 20 diseases. So let us use our drugs very judiciously, cautiously, not cause any problem, and give the patient maximum amount of benefit out of the available drugs. Thank you, NMDF. Thank you all the 70 people who are logged in for this conference. And I'm really sorry for the technological interruptions. Thank you.
One more question can I ask?
Yes, please.
Sir, in one of the senior pediatrician in Vadia Hospital used to say 20 years back, never give any sensitivity test for penicillin, give it directly. He was practicing for 50 years and never seen any reaction. He says, whether you give test or you don't give, patient will get it, if he is about to get them. So what is your take on that?
Kiran.
See, this is a wrong attitude. In fact, this is a wrong attitude. Remember, the injection allergy penicillin, in fact, 30 years back, all our patients used to give only PPF for pyoderma, procaine penicillin, and Penidura for syphilis. And we used to see reactions. So remember, you need to do a test dose. It's mandatory that you must do dose, because anything happens afterwards, you can be technically, you can be negligent, because if you do not do test dose and give injection and patient got some reaction, you will be in trouble. So always do test dose. And obviously we used to find out, not now, 30 years back, when PPF was a routine treatment for all pyodermas, we used to test it and patient used to get redness, erythema after you inject. We never used to give them PPF injection. So please do test. Somebody is telling that will not help in a court of law. If you do not do test dose, if you do test dose and then something wrong happens, well, you are still justified saying that test dose did not show reaction and your full dose can show reaction.
So are you supposed to give test dose every time, sir, before giving a penicillin injection?
Ideally, yes. Ideally, yes. And I do. Now, I was one, in fact, Penidura used to watch a common thing which I used to go for syphilis, but I used to, every time I used to give it, it is mandatory. And you please be a safer side. Don't be in a hurry to give. Something can happen to somebody and your whole thing can be wasted. So please, you have to follow the rules which are maintained and which are done. You cannot bypass them.
Sir, because we have seen the cases even after positive skin testing, then also you used to say, you give it in front of me. And we have seen the patient also, there was nothing happening, even after positive test. I don't know what is the reason.
See, he may be confident enough to tell you that.
That was his experience in 50 years.
Experience was talking, but that will not save you in a court of law.
Yeah, medically it will be a problem. Yeah,
medically,
correct.
you please follow the procedure. Follow the procedure. You can charge money extra for the test dose. Don't worry. Please follow the procedure and do it. Don't be this thing. Without test dose could be sometimes dangerous.
I know one doctor who had TB, and after 47 injection of streptomycin, he developed reaction and died.
Yes,
so it can happen anytime. See, reaction can happen anytime. It is not that first time it will be happening. In fact, sometimes reaction can after a few injections also. And penicillin, I have got big experience, because when we used to give maximum penicillin at that time, you may not be knowing, we have got 200 patients OPD in Rajawadi and almost 30-40% patients used to give PPF injections. So please follow the rules. Don't do this thing. You have to do it.
Better to be ask patient to go to hospital and nursing home and take
now,
injections.
Very few GPs give the injection of penicillin. We send them to hospital only, because now it is better to be safe than sorry.
I would like to share one slide over here. So many questions about COVID vaccines. This slide is shared by Dr. Jassan in last meeting. So only these ingredient having allergies should avoid this Covishield vaccine and Covaxin. The ingredient additives which are in these vaccines, which are used to make this vaccine, only patient allergic to this content should avoid this vaccine. Please note this. So we are come concluding now. So thank you, Dr. S.V. Kulkarni sir, Dr. Kiran Godse sir. Is a Doctor's Day, and this is one of the precious gift received from both the eminent and senior speakers today. I think all of will agree that this is one of the gift for all the doctors. I think, but one should not this time should not come that this patient they will suffer. They will have to face the anaphylactic reactions from the patients. Thank you, Dr. Kiran.
Arun, can I tell one story? Arun, can I tell one small story? 2 minutes.
Sure.
See, people don't know who was Dr. B.C. Roy. They were a very rare combination of a doctor, politician. He was a double MRCP as well as FRCS, surgeon as well as physician. He was in a position to convince Mahatma Gandhi, when he was suffering from typhoid fever, to take Pardeshi drugs, Videshi Dawa. A person who has been a vice chancellor, president of IMA, everything, he remained bachelor for throughout his life. On the name of his fiance, he prepared two big cities, Kalyani Nagar in West Bengal. And for every aspect of social life of Kolkata, Dr. B.C. Roy was, everybody used to call him as Bidhan Babu. And I have seen the place on the building on his mother's name. And a very rare combination of a physician, a surgeon, a politician, an administrator, a vice chancellor, chief of organization, and the real planner. And everybody knows what happened after Dr. B.C. Roy's death in Bengal and what is happening around also. So he was a very rare personality, and on his name, this Doctors Day are celebrated. आणि आपण त्यांचे वंशज आहोत हे सांगायला सुद्धा आपल्याला अभिमान वाटेल. You are a very great personality. I got a small PPT and video that I can share with all of you later on in our website or with this YouTube also. Thank you very much.
His date of birth and
yes,
death was same.
Yes, very rarely it is said that Gautam Buddha was the same person. There are very few people who have died and born on the same date, and it is exactly 80 years. And what was most important, that he died at somewhere around 2:30 after seeing his last patient. You can imagine, he has seen his last patient. He was supposed to go to the assembly to see his political work. He stands up from the chair and collapses in the same place. Means a doctor dying in the hospital itself is one of the greatest things. He was involved with patient care till his last breath. Actually, there should be a movie should come out on his life. He's really very असं प्रेरणादायी खूप व्यक्तिमत्व आहे. त्यांचे व्हिडिओज पण आहेत काही काही. तुम्ही युट्यूबवर सर्च करा, तुम्हाला खूप छान छान गोष्टी बघायला मिळतील. And really a great personality. Hardly anybody who is so humble and so humane with everybody, the patients, the medical fraternity, as well as the development of West Bengal. Thank you. That was a tribute to him.
Thank you all participants, Kulkarni, for sharing such a beautiful story. We end our meeting over here.